Welcome to Education 101 with your host, Erik Wolfram. Education 101 is about the amazing education community we have in the greater Spokane area. We highlight the outstanding programs, teachers, supporters, and opportunities of the education community in the Spokane region. Education 101 is brought to you in part by STCU. Here's Erik.
And welcome to Education 101. I'm your host, Erik Wolfram. Let me tell you, I'm very excited about my show today because today we're going to be talking about a fourth grader's perspective about education and just kind of that education world. From the teachers, from the professionals' perspective, we definitely have our mindset about it, but what are the kids thinking? And that's what today's all about. So I am so excited. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hi.
All right, so right here, we've got Drew. Okay, Drew's a fourth grader, and he is also going to be an architectural engineer. So fourth grader and a future architectural engineer, which is pretty cool. The other kid over there I know quite well. That's Luke. That's my son, my youngest son. And that kid right there, he says he's going to be an engineer for NASA. That's pretty cool, right? Both of you. I mean, an architectural engineer and then an engineer at NASA. I think those are very big goals. So, well, guys, I am very excited to have you guys on the show. So thank you guys for being here today. So let's start it off with this. Again, we're talking about your perspective, and so I just want to hear a little bit about what you guys have to think about. Let's start with fourth grade. Okay. So talk to me about fourth grade, right? Talk to me. What do you think so far?
It's pretty good. I mean, I had a solid foundation at the beginning, and now I know all the rules from my teacher, and It's just pretty fun. Some things that you think weren't fun in third grade appeal to you more in fourth grade. So
you think so? You know, you mentioned that whole idea of rules, and it seems like every year you guys have to go through that whole idea of learning the rules again, right? Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about how you guys feel about that process. In other words, are you like, really, let's do this again? Or is it a good reminder? You know, talked about a good foundation.
Well, I think that it's like, I mean,
so I think that
good job.
It's easy because I think it's okay because, I mean, because every teacher has a different rule. Maybe
Right.
they have one similar rule, but they all have a similar rule.
Okay.
So what I think is it's okay because every teacher is different. So I'm like, that's fine. I mean, some of the normal rules that you learn in kindergarten,
Right.
like no voices in the hall, no running in the hall, I feel like it is kind of useless because you're like, I already know that. But still, the main rules that the teacher has, I think that those are important.
So really what you're saying is the whole idea that the school rules, which you guys have experienced since kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
They haven't really changed.
Yeah.
They're about the same. Get that, but each teacher, once you get into their classroom, they all do something a little different, don't they?
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead, Drew.
This year, my teacher, he's very artistic.
Yes.
So, if we're done with something, some teachers would say you need to get out this, you need to get out something specific. But he's like, whatever you do, just do something quiet. I mean, I don't really care.
As long as you're not disturbing the rest of the class is really what he means, right? Because other kids are still learning at that time, right? They're still going through the learning process. And so, you know, I bet he's okay, since he's artistic, I bet he's okay with you doing something, if you've got your work done, being able to draw and add to it, right?
See, my teacher is totally different. Like, if you finish a test, she expects you to read. That's all. Because she's like, what she does is she's like, instead of drawing and not doing that, she wants you to get kind of ahead of the game.
Right.
While everyone's still doing kind of what they're supposed to do. She wants you to just like go and do more instead of stay at that level.
Yeah.
And my teacher, like if we did something that we can actually get done with, unlike writing and reading, if we do something we can get done with, like if it's a station, he'll have us go do the next work at the next station if it's something you can get done with.
Right.
And then he expects us to do the backup.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has a list of, like, he has a wall, and there's a list that says, it says, like, what you can do when you're finished.
Yeah.
And it just has, like, random projects we're working on.
So you have options,
Yes.
right? And I bet one of those options is probably reading, kind of like what your teacher does, Luke, right? Yeah, and again, I think it's that idea of here's some things to do when you're done with your work, but there are other kids that might still be going, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So talking about teachers, let's talk a little bit about what you guys have had a few teachers. What makes a good teacher? What makes a good teacher? What makes a great teacher? You know, what are those characteristics that, from your guys' perspective, really makes a difference?
So one thing that I think makes a good teacher is you gotta be nice at some times, like help sometimes if they need help or anything like that. Like if something's happening, help them. But at some times, you have to be strict with them because it will not. Because if you're just not strict at all, your class is gonna be noisy, and it's not gonna. They're not gonna follow the rules, and so like if you need, and my teacher, I don't know if his teacher does it, but my teacher says until Halloween, I'm strict with you guys. I'll be really strict, but then after Halloween, I'll kind of lighten up, and then after Thanksgiving, I'll lighten up a little more. So that's what my teacher says. I don't know what his teacher says.
And before you go, Drew, I know that in the education world, from the teacher's perspective, there's a lot of people who have that philosophy of, you know what, don't smile until Thanksgiving. And that means, not be strict, but you know what, hold to those rules, because we need to be able to learn all the rules within the classroom, to be able to move forward. Drew, what do you think about that?
My teacher, if we're doing a good job, he'll give us treats. Like sometimes, like if we fill out our planner that we do daily, sometimes he'll give us like a lifesaver we can suck on. But what I think makes a good teacher is somebody that's nice with their students, a little goofy.
Oh, I like goofy.
Yeah.
And but they're strict at the right times. Something that can get their attention if they're not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somebody that doesn't like say, "Hey, you're not doing the right thing."
So somebody that's not yelling, but does it maybe appropriately,
yes,
right?
Say, my teacher, he'll say, "Hey, Drew, can you maybe stop doing what you're doing?"
Yeah.
But
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you guys say is that whole idea of, a nice person, right? A nice person that, still holds you guys accountable, which is the being strict when it's appropriate, right? To say, watch yourself, right? Those kinds of things, but still being able to, I guess, be fair. But it's almost that respect piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of like what we ask you guys to do, whether it's respect, your character count stuff, the respect, responsibility, and all those pieces, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your typical day like?
Well, my typical day is, so we get into class, so she usually has a morning entry task.
Yeah.
So last week, let's say, one of the days we had the separation of theirs, so there.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to write down the theirs, and so then after that, she expects us to do IDR, so independent reading time.
Yeah.
Because we do that because she has a little sign which she says, if she's like talking, she'll quickly stop and go turn on the music, and when the music turns on, IDR time.
So she's got a great little sign for you guys to know exactly when. Sure.
Yeah. So then after that, we usually go to writing, which right now we're working on personal narratives.
Very nice.
So I'm writing about my bike crash that I had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, and then we usually go into reading, which we're talking about character, setting, and plot.
Okay.
And then once we're in like 15 minutes into reading, it'll be lunchtime, and then recess. And then we come in, we do either reading, writing, whatever. And then math, which right now we're doing so it's numbers that you can multiply. So
numbers you can multiply?
No, so numbers you can multiply. Factors. Numbers that only have either exactly 2 factors or even more factors.
Okay.
And then we go into science, which right now we're making our science posters for a planet. And my planet is Uranus, so the one by Neptune.
Very nice. Very nice.
Then planners.
Nice. And then your planners. Drew, what about you?
So when I walk in to my aunt's the music teacher at my school, so I'll go to her room in the morning. Then I'm always a little bit late to my classroom. So when I walk into my classroom, I look up on the board, and he always has this artistic drawing that tells us what to do first.
Nice.
And, we'll do that, and then usually there's something on our desk for us to do after that. And, then next, we usually do vocabulary, or he reads us, like a book. Last year we did a lot of making meaning and being a writer, but this year...
So you're doing something different this year.
Yes, and I do like that.
Very nice.
And
okay, so once you do that, what's your next thing? What do you go to next?
My next thing is probably lunch and recess.
Okay.
Then when I come in, he has an IDR thing. Then
That's
we do
the reading piece, and Luke talked about that.
And he has the sign on the board. And then after we do that, we usually hop into math. What I'm doing now is multiples and factors, like the differences between the two.
Yep.
And I'm just math packet the entries.
Sounds very similar to what you're doing as well,
and
right?
Then we have recess, and then we come back in, and we do science. I am same with Luke. I'm doing planet research, and my planet is Venus.
Excellent.
And I just got done today with that, so.
Good deal. Good deal. So you guys have a busy day. Every day in and day out, don't you? And then I would guess you probably go to music and library and PE and all those pieces as well. But I tell you what, why don't we take a quick break, okay? And then let's come back, and I've got a few more questions, kind of get your perspective again. So join us back here in just a minute on Education 101.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
I'm Jade Becker, and I'm a senior at Chewelah High School. I'm at STCU's Money Live event. In this scenario that we played today, I was a realtor. My spouse was a city worker. We had an 11-month-old child, and there was a lot of spending for that child, like diapers and formula, and had to buy toys and clothing. I'm very glad that I had this experience. It was super helpful. You need this to get far and ahead in life. I'm Jade Becker, and STCU is here for good.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler Attorneys.
And welcome back to Education 101. Again, we're here with Drew and Luke talking about that fourth grader's perspective of what education is all about and really how fourth grade is going this year. So
Yeah.
I want to get into a couple other questions. We had the opportunity to talk a little bit about what your year was like so far. Okay. I want you guys to reflect on a couple things. And I want to start with the whole idea of the SBA, the Smarter Balanced Assessment. That's that national test, right?
Yeah.
That we all take. You guys got to take it for the first time in third grade.
Yep.
And so talk to me a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
The SBA test is very difficult. It has a lot of very mathematical questions if it's a math test. So it's very mathematical, and reading, it makes you read every single word since you don't know what's going to be important or what's not. And the writing, one thing. I love typing on a computer. I think it's way easier than writing with a pencil and paper. But on the SBA, you have to write a lot. And my hands are like shaking.
Now, did you write with pencil or did you type?
We type.
And so it was that much?
The whole SBA test is on the computer.
That's what I thought.
So sometimes my back will get really stiff.
Mm-hmm.
And last year...
Were you able to take a break when that happened?
Yes, we could raise our hand. Last year, my teacher had gum for us, and we could bring a snack and a reading book.
That's good.
And some pencil and paper to draw on. But it was just very difficult.
What do you think about it, Luke?
Well, I thought that, like, I don't know, maybe, like, it was hard, like, the typing, because... you had to read word for word, and sometimes on the test, they make you reread the whole story again, because because they want to ask you more questions, but they're like, I think you need, so they say read this story again.
Yeah.
So you have to read that, and then the typing is hard like that, but. Last year we had the same teacher, me and him, and she brought gum and let us bring snacks, books, and whatever we wanted, and it was kind of like a good experience by that.
Yeah.
So, and the math one was hard because some of the, because what happened was some of the questions were like kindergarten questions, okay?
Yeah.
But then the other ones were like 5th grade questions, and we were like, wait, what? So, and that was one part that was kind of hard, but I mean, the rest of it was pretty good.
You went for. Let me ask you guys this. For that, here's the question. Were you more nervous for the SBA or for this show today?
This show.
What?
This show, definitely.
Drew, what do you think?
SBA, definitely.
Okay.
It made you go like, is this the right answer? Or, yep, this is just plain old garbage.
But
do you think it really tied into what you learned in, I guess, from kindergarten to 3rd grade? Were those concepts really in the testing? Or do you think it was just random stuff that you'd never seen before?
It's some of it's random stuff and some of it's the same. We just got our test results at the beginning of this year.
Yep.
So, to see what we did last
Thumbs up.
year, above city standard and above state standard.
Nice job.
But it's it's just difficult.
Yeah, it is. I think it is, and I appreciate your guys' honesty with that. So at your school, I know you guys are very involved, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And one of the ways that I know that is you guys both hold ASB positions.
Yes.
Drew, what's your position in the ASB?
I am one of the historians.
Okay. Luke, what's yours?
And I am the treasurer.
The treasurer. Okay.
My job is to mostly take pictures of school events.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to meetings.
That's it. How many meetings do you have? Lots?
Once every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's not
bad.
bad.
But we have this week and last week because of conferences.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's coming right up. Luke, how about you?
So what I do is I have to count the money because we have pencil sales, and very soon I will be taking over that job from the old treasurer and historian.
Mm-hmm.
And so we sell pencils, but it's my job to count the money that we have made in pencil sales. And so what I do is every Friday is our meeting, and every day that we sell pencils is Tuesday and Thursday. And what happens is I have to count it right before the meeting. So I have to take 15 minutes to count the money, because there is so much, especially because a lot of kids bring quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies.
How much is a pencil?
25 cents.
Okay.
So, and that's pretty hard to count in 15 minutes.
Yep.
But this last week, I had to count it in the meeting.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of time, and I was kind of rushing because I was like, uh-oh. But I did do it, and it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got to do just a tiny bit of the rest.
Very nice. So a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys stay busy with it, right?
Yes.
I mean, shoot, we just ended an election yesterday, right, on the nation, and you guys had yours last year. Would you rather run for your office or do what we saw yesterday, run for the Senate? You guys going to run for the Senate someday?
Well,
House of Representatives?
I would not, because I feel like it'd be more pressure than... Because if you're at our school running for a place in the office,
Mm-hmm.
It's 405 kids.
Right.
Exactly. And then you come over to the whole nation, and that's, I don't know how many. So I'd say, because that's a lot more pressure than 405. Well, actually, less than that, around 100, because the kindergarten and first grade and second grade can't vote. So it's a lot of that. So I'd be a little more nervous.
On the bigger scale?
I would rather run for an office at a school. One, heck, I don't want to get too politically involved in that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can get a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I think we saw some of that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys didn't pull hate campaigns against your opponents. Well, I know you guys
Well, what
didn't.
do you
I know
mean
you
by
guys
that?
are. Well, you guys didn't badmouth your opponents, right?
No.
Anything like that.
But
Good.
I did say vote for Luke. Vote
Well,
for me
that's
for
okay.
treasurer.
You can cheer yourself on. Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's
I got a couple more questions for you because we're kind of getting short on time. Drew, this one's for you.
Okay.
Any after-school program that you could ever want at your school, what would it be?
a flag football camp that that you actually get to play with refs and important people, because the school flag football, it doesn't have really any.
It's not up for you. It's not up at your standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my friend, he broke his ankle playing it.
Uh-oh.
So.
Okay, so flag football would be the one.
And probably a play camp. So like every now and then there's gonna be a play.
Like theater.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Camp.
Absolutely.
Like what U-High does.
Absolutely. Your aunt would love that, wouldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Lucas, I'm going to give you a different question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, I know you guys have substitutes from time to time.
Yes.
Okay? If you could have a celebrity substitute for a day, who would it be?
Okay. I'd probably go with, if I could have any celebrity.
Any celebrity.
I'd probably go with for right now, I'd probably go with my favorite celebrity right now, Jim Carrey, because
nice.
I was Ace Ventura pet detective for Halloween, and he played that role, and I've sent a letter to him, and he's been one of my favorite celebrities for a while now.
Nice.
So that's probably why.
I really thought you'd pick Kevin Hart.
There we go. That'd be interesting. Both of them would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Future engineers. All right.
Yeah.
Drew, what's your favorite subject right now?
Math and art.
Okay. Luke, what's your favorite subject?
Favorite subject, probably science.
Science is right now.
Because like NASA.
Okay. Absolutely. Math and art. I like that combination. That could be interesting. I really think.
A few days ago on Halloween, actually,
mm-hmm.
we did this thing where we had to draw a picture using
mm-hmm.
math coordinates.
Ooh, I like it.
On a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So there is a page of the coordinates,
mm-hmm.
and then on our piece of paper there is a row of letters and a row of letters.
Yep.
We had to find the right coordinate.
I like it.
We had to draw.
That is a little math.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
it turned out to be a pumpkin.
Oh, appropriate.
Yeah,
But working
that's
on
cool.
the coordinate plane, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas,
Luke.
if you were to be principal for a day,
Yeah.
tell me about it.
I'd probably, if I was principal for a day, I would kind of keep the same routes as our principal for right now, because I don't want to split that up, because, I mean, what if that, like, because if, let's say, I was like a kindergartner and I said, you can make paper airplanes, throw them all around, or food fight or something like that,
Uh-huh.
I don't want to do that, because I feel like I'd get in trouble more than the kids, because I am in charge of the school.
That's right.
So if I do that, then I get more in trouble than the kids that I am bossing around.
That's right. So that's what they do, boss them around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I think, would you be bossing around? You'd be the boss.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. How about you, Drew?
What can I say? I'd let them run free.
Oh my gosh, you guys, total ends of the spectrum here.
We are best friends, but
Yeah.
That's okay.
I think school isn't very not fun, but it's boring
Okay,
at sometimes.
that's all right.
Yeah, I'm
So,
kind of the same.
like at recess, let them bring books out. Let them bring what they want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let them bring a paper airplane out if they need to.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying is don't let them go too crazy.
Yeah, see,
right? But you're saying
And
don't let them go too crazy, but maybe a little more crazy than him.
Yeah, and if they're like, I'm not, like, I don't want to do this, since if I do it, I'm not going to do a very good job, since I'm not wanting to do this right now. So I'd say, hey, when you're ready to actually work at it, tell me, and I will give you the paper.
That's
like
kind
it.
of what my teacher says. If you don't want to talk right now, anytime later, that you will really talk with me and get deep into it, because I need to know this, come on.
Yep.
Come to me.
Make it happen. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys being on the show today.
Yep.
It's amazing that we're out of time. So I
Wow.
appreciate that fourth grade perspective, I think you guys have some really good insight to what's going on, and I think those of us in the education world can really learn from listening to what you guys have to say. Drew, Luke, thanks for being here.
Yep.
Thanks to everybody for watching the show today.
Bye.
Hopefully you guys have some good fourth grade perspective here from this conversation. So we'll catch you next time on Education 101.
Bye.
Bye.
Education 101 is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Education 101 is brought to you by our friends at STCU. Ask Erik a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com.